What is going on, everyone? Today is a very exciting video for me. We're getting a setup in the race car ready to take it out on track this coming weekend, Sunday the 2nd of April at the Queensland Raceway general practice and sprint round. It's not a race meet, it's just a sprint round. So I can turn the wheels over on this car and just get everything sorted, so when we get to a race meet, she's good to go. So in a moment, I've got someone coming over. He's going to be putting a setup in this car, and this guy has been around XLs from the very beginning. He's very knowledgeable and experienced, and has worked with some of the best drivers within Queensland and Australia with this series. And we'll probably have a chat to him and then get a setup in the car. I think we might even be putting it on the scales, which is a little bit scary for me because I tried to keep it as light as possible, but obviously it is going to be heavier than normal because our cage is bigger, I'm heavier, I'm bigger. So I'm just curious to see what it's like, and I dare say whenever we have a race and I go across the scales, I will not have to worry about going underweight because I will be super heavy in this thing. So when he gets here, we'll throw the scales on it and we'll see where we're at and put a setup in it ready for our track day on Sunday. Well, I just thought I'd put a full tank of fuel in this car before we put it on the scales so we can weigh it wet, and had a fuel leak, and I just spent the last 10 minutes running around trying to clean up all this fuel. That's alright, we got it sorted now. This is the first time this thing has probably had a full tank of fuel in it since 3 years, probably. And just started dribbling on the floor, and when I changed the fuel pump a few years ago, the the giant screw thing on the top of the tank must have been done up tight enough, and it just started coming out there. So it's squared away now, should be all good. So the guy that's coming here to do our setup is Jason Hannigan from XL Cup, or Hannigan Motorsports, with the who races up here in Queensland. Now, he's one of the original guys that started racing these cars way back when. And I'll put some footage up. He actually showed me some footage of guys racing these XLs. The guts of the car have been stripped out. I think it's a long sleeve shirt, jeans, a helmet, stock seat belt, no dash, no roll cage. It was interesting to say the least. So he's just pulled up, he's going to come in and we'll get started. We're going to put a patch down on the floor. I'm going to corner weight it, get an overall weight of the car, set it up, get the cambers, toes, wheel alignment, all that set in the car. So we'll be ready to take it out this weekend. All right guys, we have the big fan blowing because it is quite hot tonight, and we've taken all the suspension out of the car, all four corners, and we have it on the floor. Now, there is one missing, and that is because we've already made a change to the suspension that I will be comfortable with when I go out for my first time on track. Now, Jason's over there, he's just putting it back in the car for me. But we've got our fronts here and our one remaining rear shock there. From factory, they come with a factory setting. After talking to a few people at the track and different places, I got a bit of an idea of what kind of settings I would like to run in the car for my first time out. And I'm just making some small tweaks to a few different things Nothing illegal. I'm not taking it apart or anything like that, or dismantling the entire shock. I'm just making a few tweaks to get a setting in the car that I'll be comfortable with when I go out for my first time, and then from there, if we need to make some changes, we can. The settings we've got there will be great, but obviously once we change these and get them back in the car and we put it on the scales and the patch, we may have to make a few changes to try and get a few to get the balance of the car right. But as of now, all we're going to do is just make a few changes, get these back in the car, and then we can get the car on the scales and get the alignment in and get it ready for the track. Shocks are back in, they're all adjusted, got the wheels on. I've got camber in the rear, which is lovely. Just getting it set up on the scales now, so that'll tell me how fat I am and how much I need to get on that treadmill over there. I'm actually genuinely curious to see how heavy this car is, because I have not weighed it since I started building it. And yeah, I'm actually kind of nervous. Let's see what it comes out. What do you reckon it's going to be, Jace? Heavy. Heavy? Yeah. Heavy with me in there? Yeah. Big Bertha. It'll be good exercise. Yep. So work out. See how much weight we can get out of it. Letting you in. Take a look at you and start to lose my balance. What am I falling into? On she goes. Should we weigh it before I jump in it? Yeah, we can do that. Oh. Here we go. That's not too bad though. Yeah, with the car as it is. I'm looking at 962. I thought it'd be heavier than that. Well, it's not too bad either. I thought... But we'll get it closer. What have you got here? 960, I thought it'd be over 1,000 kilos, so I'm actually really happy with that. What are the coil weights like?
Well, we've still got a fair bit to go, but it's not horrendous. So you want to jump in?
I'll jump in. I know what it's going to get close to. My big ass just jumped in the car and we got on the scales. 1,100 kilos neat. Now, there's probably some weight we could take out of the car. There's a bit of weight I could take off myself, and we could probably get it down, I think. I'd love to say close to about 45, 50 kilos off total. That's a big ask. It's not going to happen in the next 2-3 weeks, certainly not the next 3 or 4 days, but 1,100 kilos neat is what I came in at with me. Full tank of fuel, on the scales. Interesting. That being said, I'm still running tyres that I'll not be using on a race meet. They're still full of meat. Could play a part in putting a bit of extra weight on the car, but most of it is on me. I just need to get some fat off me and get on that treadmill. And right now we're just doing getting the string line set up for our for the wheel alignment, using the string line kit I made up months and months ago, probably a year ago. And it's a good one. Jace likes, he wants me to make him one. And we'll get a wheel alignment in the car, and that should be close to being done. But yeah, I actually thought it'd be over the 1100 kilo mark, and everyone's going to sit there and go, holy shit, that's heavy. Yeah, I know it is, but I'm also 6'10", putting myself in this tiny little car, and in reality I'm racing against a bunch of 50 and 55, 60 kilo 16-year-olds, and I'm over double their weight, and they're racing it like they're putting weight in their car to race, and they haven't got a roll cage this big, they haven't got a seat this big which takes up more weight, they haven't altered the floor pan to fit a bigger seat, things like that. So I'm actually pretty happy. 1100 kilos, me being close to 140 kilos, and all the extra things that to fit me in the car so I can be comfortable and race and be safe. Not too bad, not bad at all. So pretty happy. All right, update time. Been sitting in the big chair now for 45 minutes. I don't know what I've done when I've actually set this car up and built it, but apparently my track width is somehow spot on. Awesome. The rear toe is spot on. Awesome. Front toe, right hand side is 10mm toe in or toe out. One of them 10mm something out or in, either one. Left hand side's 8mm, so we're gonna be fixing that up. But it's pretty good, and the more I'm looking at this car, the more I can see weight I can pull out of it, and get the weight way down. I'm out of the car now. It is now time to take the car off the scales, and we've got a wheel alignment in it, Jace.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, they're pointing in the right direction.
they're pointing in the right direction, which is going to be helpful come the weekend. So very happy with how it's turned out. Let's give a bit of a clean over, but it's now really starting to look like a race car. We've got a few things tomorrow night. We've got to bleed the brakes, bleed the clutch, the radiator, just change something on the power steering. Gonna put some different brake pads in it. It does have Brembos in the front, Brembo brake pads, not the whole Brembo system, but just the Brembo brake pads, and we're going to change that for a WinMax, I think, a WinMax pad. But so far, it's come along nicely. We've just been talking about different ways we can get weight out of the car over the next little while, and we'll that'll be a bit of a goal that we can work towards in getting some beef out of this thing, because with me in there, she's a little bit on the hefty side. That's all right. Give us something to work towards, huh? Well, where do I start? Second night, Jace came over, bled the clutch. It's got a firm clutch in it now, perfect. Bled the brakes, not an ounce of air in the line, so I must have done a good job the first time. I just got him to check it over, make sure. Then we went into bleeding the radiator and getting all the air out of the water system around the engine. And I was sitting in the car and it was idling, and Jace just had a look at the engine bay. He goes, shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. Turned it off, and there was a fuel leak in the engine bay. Now, I'll see if I can show you. It's pretty dark, but what's actually happened, like this is the fuel filter here. Now, when I bought this car, I knew there'd be problems with it. I knew there'd be issues. Now, what I didn't understand is that usually there's a hard line that runs from the bottom of the fuel filter down the firewall all the way back to the fuel tank for the return. On this car, it had a piece of hose that ran from the bottom of the fuel filter back into the hard line where they'd actually cut the hard line. And I thought that was stock because it looked stock. It looked like it was meant to be there, but apparently it's not. So this part here was cut, and then down here there's another line down there which is probably too dark to see. That's where they've actually cut it. Now, we tried fitting some extra hose to it, and as much as we tried, I wasn't too comfortable with that. I'd rather it be right before I go out and it be safe. I don't want this car going up in flames or having any issues like that because I've put too much effort and time into getting it right for something like that to happen, just because I wanted to rush and get it on track for this Sunday. So, unfortunately, there'll be no race or no practice this weekend, which is disappointing. But I think in the long run, I'd rather have a car to race than trying to rush it and get it on track and it go up in flames because you've got leaky fuel all through the engine bay and it go up in flames. So that's where we're at. To say I'm disappointed is a bit of an understatement. I was really looking forward to going out this weekend and pushing the car and seeing where it's at and turning the wheels over and getting in the seat and just really finally getting this car on track. But it's not to be. Hopefully in the next few weeks I've got a hard line that should be here and we'll get it in the car, get it right. Always do your double checks because obviously I've never run these in a race. Jace has run heaps of them. He was having a look and he goes, nah, that's not right. And he picked up on it, and props, credit to him, he just said, nah. I literally said to him, would you send your car out on track with that piece of hose? He goes, nah. I said, then I'm not doing mine. I'm not sending mine out either. So that's where we're at. We have a car that is a little bit filthy at the moment. We'll give her a bit of clean up, but we have a car, looks good, sounds good, is 100 kilos or 220 pounds heavier than it should be with me in it. So I figure we're going to give this car a brand new name. And this car will be named Lizzo from now on. If you understand why, you'll understand why. So, this is Lizzo. Lizzo's got a fuel leak. Lizzo's not going to the track this weekend. And we'll get her all sorted and go from there. Lizzo did have another name. She was named by me, or I was referring to her as Roxy. But given the fact that she's got a bit of she's a bit husky, she's a little bit heavy, Lizzo is what it is. Alright guys, we'll leave it there. I will let you know as soon as I know when we're going back out to the track for a practice day. I'll film getting the new hardline, putting all that in, getting it right to go. It may be an extra week or two until we get out on track. That's fine, happy to do that. But it is what it is. So, until next time, I thought it would be at the track, but it won't. I'll see you then. Hopefully, not too far away. Catch you guys. Bye.
Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two forward cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my